All right, EXPs, how are you guys doing tonight? I first want to say thank you to our special guests, Destiny McKnight and Melissa Tuscano of InCast Marketing for joining us for this very special interview that we're going to be doing tonight to talk all things, not only experiential marketing, but the importance of creating side hustles and advancing on a personal level as a EXP. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and hand this interview over. Of course, we're going to be moderating, asking questions. EXPs also, if you have any questions for Melissa or Destiny, drop them in the comments, say hi, let them know you're here. If you've worked for InCast Marketing in the past, let them know how much you appreciate them or any of your favorite events that you've worked for them in the past. But nonetheless, let me go ahead and let Destiny take it away. And Destiny, just go ahead and start by introducing InCast Marketing, the inspiration for starting this marketing agency and how it has grown over the years.
Absolutely. Hi. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Jay, for having us on. My name is Destiny McKnight. Obviously, you guys know me as Destiny.adams. So I'm the owner of InCast Marketing, and I actually used to be a brand ambassador, and that's how we got our start. So starting out as a brand ambassador, obviously, you kind of work your way up. You learn the ins and outs of the event industry. You network with people. You learn what events to work and what events to not work, what agencies to work for. So I had actually had the experience at a really young age. When I first started, I became a market manager. And it's a completely different market. I actually went to Boston on a 30-day assignment, and I had never worked with a staffing agency under this capacity before. I was basically working with the experiential marketing agency, but they had hired a staffing agency to have brand ambassadors come out. And so I noticed how inconsistent it was. The brand ambassadors either didn't show up or they weren't on time or they had attitudes. And I said, okay, so this is a staffing agency. They're supposed to send the best of the best. Why can't I do this? Or why can't I learn from their mistakes and figure out a way to make it better? And by this time, I really didn't understand the scope of what I would be getting into as far as staffing, but I knew it was worth the challenge. My goal was to network and create opportunities for other people. So that's really where InCast Marketing started. We started really as an idea in 2014, but in 2017, I finally decided to take a leap of faith and, just run with the business. We're still a small agency as far as the amount of people that we have on our team, but we've handled so many big accounts now, and we're very fortunate to have the clients that we do have.
And let's go ahead and bring in Melissa. She was actually a former, not former, but an EXP Elite of the Week last year. So she went from working in the field to executing events, which I'm sure she'll touch more on in a few minutes about her experience and working as an EXP to now working on the agency side and helping to staff EXPs for opportunities. So Melissa, go ahead and just jump in and tell us more about your experience and what made you start working in the industry as an EXP and then, ultimately make that transition now to working with Destiny at InCast.
Hi, guys. Miss everyone first and foremost. I hope everyone's staying healthy out there and safe. I started in the industry like 10, 12 years ago. And honestly, I had never heard of it before. A friend of mine, Caitlin, had gotten me into it. We were doing liquor promos at the time. I was a lot younger. And I just honestly did it as a side job. I was working full time in the mental health industry. And so this was just a way to kind of, help my income being a single mom. Flash forward maybe 4 or 5 years, and I ended up leaving that career, retired from that. And I kind of sat back, and in that time, I had learned a little bit more about the industry and how actually expansive it was, how many different things you could do. And I thought, I could probably do this full time. And so I just jumped in, and that's what I did and worked my way up. Anywhere from program managers, tour manager, production, pretty much done a little bit of everything, with kind of in my back of my mind knowing I always wanted upward mobility and kind of wanted to be on the other side of things. I love doing events. I love interacting with everybody. But I kind of knew at this point in my life that it was going to be a time that I was going to need to be behind the scene. And I like Destiny said, I see awesome talent all the time. I see how things are done. I'm constantly looking in the field for people to recommend, and I do all the time. And so this was a perfect opportunity when Destiny approached me to kind of be on this side of things and give quality staff to the clients that are going to get a really great return on their investment for these people that are invested in their products, are enthusiastic, are going to show up. So yeah.
So let's fast forward, and let me ask you to this. What have you learned, both Melissa and Destiny, from transitioning from the field level to now staffing EXPs on a national level for different programs? What would you say is one of the key differences that a lot of EXPs probably don't realize or take into account when they are looking at being hired for a potential opportunity?
I'll take this one. I think that the biggest thing for that, the biggest differentiating factor between that is really having a goal. So if you really have no goal or really don't know what to do, then the transition won't be so smooth as you might hope that it is. So having an action plan, having a goal, really setting yourself apart in the industry first and foremost, and building a good foundation with agencies, maybe different brands, is really important. And not saying that you're going to go and poach, a whole bunch of the staffing agency's clients, but really building a good rapport really sets you apart. So really doing that on the staffing agency level or the branding level, when you're working with different brands, when you're working with different agencies, experiential marketing companies, have a goal in place.
Okay. Melissa, do you want to add to that, since you've now moved to working alongside with Destiny at InCast, where you are the one that's now choosing the EXPs? And have you, because you might be choosing some of your friends or not choosing some of your friends or EXPs that you have worked with. So how has that been?
That's a really good question. And I'm sure all of you that do staffing get approached all the time with, hey, are you guys hiring? Or, I'd love to get on that job. And I have to say that most of the staff that I've ever worked with have become very good friends of mine, good family. I consider them family. And there's many people that I would recommend to be put on a high profile job. But then again, there's maybe some people that they're awesome, but they may not just fit that job. And you have to kind of learn how to approach that in a tactful way. And, it just maybe this isn't a good fit for you. We'll see what's coming down the line, and maybe we can find you something else, going forward.
Mm-hmm. That's key, because a lot of times, EXPs may feel like, oh, well, Melissa works for InCast, so she can put me on this event, or look out for me to make sure I get that opportunity because it's paying well. But oftentimes too, you guys always also have a client that you have to make sure that you are providing the staff or the look that they want. So oftentimes, EXPs, and Destiny probably could talk more about this, not taking it so personal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're providing a service at the end of the day, and it's not just, we're also providing you guys a job. We're also providing a service to the client. So we have to keep that in mind as well. We have to provide 100% satisfaction for the client and 100% satisfaction for the brand ambassador. Some staffing agencies might not do that, but our core values are to provide 100% for both, even 110% in most cases.
Okay, and that's important. And I'm glad that you guys keep that in mind and hone in on that, because it's always great when you have EXPs who have been in the field, that have staffing agencies, because they understand and they get it, what it's like on both ends. So
absolutely. And we're the middleman. So we're ultimately the ones that are communicating with the client as well as the brand ambassador. So we really want to make sure that we're being upfront and transparent with our communication as well, in the most, like Melissa said, in the most respectful way.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about, go ahead, Melissa.
I was just going to say, everyone has their skill set. Some people like to work outdoor events. Some people don't. Some people are, better at doing numbers. Some people, they don't like that at all because they hate approaching people, which in this field you should always be able to approach. But there's just some people that that's not their preference.
Yeah.
And then people show up to an outdoor event and be like, yeah, I need to be inside because it's 100 degrees out. Well, you signed up for it. So you kind of know in your mind, like what, where you're going to put your staff and who's better at this and who's not, as good at that. Everybody has, a skill set and something that they're better at than someone else.
Absolutely. And it's really important if you are applying to work with a staffing agency that you're really upfront with what you like and what you don't like, so we can meet those expectations for you, because our job is to work for you too. So if you don't like an outdoor event and it's going to be outdoors and it's New York and it's 20 degrees outside, be upfront with us saying, hey, I just don't have the proper attire. I don't think this is the right fit. Thank you so much for considering me. Don't cancel the day of, but just be really upfront with us, just like we're upfront with you guys as well. Because at the end of the day, we're offering a service to our client, and we want to make sure that you guys are set up for success as well as our clients and us.
That's important. And EXP's Destiny started early dropping these gems, so I hope you guys are paying attention. And now that we are all quarantining, but as we're seeing here in Georgia for once, things are going to start back opening up real soon. So let's talk about how are you and InCast Marketing handling this quarantine time? Were you affected on the business side with contracts and with tours or events that you were supposed to be executing? And how have you been able to pivot as an agency to continue to make sure your staff is taken care of, but also maintain your clients?
Yeah, absolutely. So we were 100% affected by the halt of events due to COVID-19, but that's okay. Our clients were nice enough to set their clients up on contingency plans. So we do plan on still executing those events that were on the horizon. Definitely not South by Southwest. That's not going to come until next year. But the tours that we were about to start, that me and Melissa were partnering up on, we are going to start those a little bit later on in the year. So maybe in the fall. We have had clients reach out saying, hey, we're hopeful to start this coming June, July. So we don't want anyone to be discouraged thinking that it's not going to happen until fall of 2021. I think that's a little bit of a stretch. If anything, they're going to do smaller scale events, maybe not as large of activations, but I really think Americans are ready to get out there and to interact with people. Obviously, the brand ambassadors are ready to get out there and interact with people because that's the core point of our job. So definitely staying positive during this time is how we've pivoted. I've just been taking care of personal things around the house, staying in communication with brand ambassadors. I've had several of you guys reach out, which is really appreciated. I've responded to you guys, trying to, keep up on social media to make sure that everyone's, good, keeping up with our LinkedIn profile. We're actually in the process of doing a new website. We're looking at new databases so we can start taking that a little bit more seriously. So there's stuff that we're doing on the business side to really make sure that we're buttoned up so that we're 110% prepared for when the market does open back up. And I really think that it's, in my opinion, coming a little bit sooner than people might speculate that it is.
And as far as a funding perspective, because, we had the payment protection opportunities that you could take advantage of, as well as the small business loans. As an agency, were you able to take advantage of and benefit from that? Or did you, a lot of companies are saying they were not able to take advantage of it and they missed out because all the funding was gone. Like, how did you handle that process as an agency owner?
Yeah, so as an agency, and I'm still an individual at the end of the day too, we've set aside a good amount of money in the business banking and my personal banking account. But specifically looking at the business banking, it's always important if you're going to start a business to have a slush fund or a fund that if anything were to happen, you're okay. You're not going to go out of business. You're not going to close your doors. You can still pay rent. You can still pay your database fees and your workers' comp fees and all of that, those reoccurring fees. So we're fine on that aspect. And plus, we didn't have a lot of employees. I started out as a one-man show. We have a silent partner. His name is Dalton. And obviously, we have Melissa. So it's not like we had to retain a whole bunch of people on payroll, which we're, fortunate about that. So I would say As an agency owner, it's been okay. I mean, obviously, we want to give people jobs and we want to have jobs too. But this is just the circumstances that have been dealt. So we kind of have to roll with it. As far as getting any kind of funding from the federal government, we have applied. We applied to the EIDL loan. We got an advance, but we're again not. It's up to $10,000, $1,000 per employee. So we didn't really see a big benefit there. That pretty much went to paying taxes for this year, paying our tax person to prepare our taxes. And then we did apply for the PPP. We did it through a larger bank, but that bank is actually currently going through a civil suit. So it's a larger bank, and we're still small potatoes in their eyes. So we did not get funded from the PPP, but we are in the holding pattern for when they do release the second round of funding. We're hopeful that maybe we get something, but if we don't, that's fine. We're okay. We're not going to close our doors or anything like that. So if we get it, great. If we don't, that's okay too. I'm just hopeful that everybody out there gets it, especially the people that really need it the most.
Okay. And this just came to mind, a lot of EXPs have been asking about unemployment.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had those questions from EXPs? And how are you handling that with regards to being an agency and EXPs possibly trying to file unemployment or not understand the process behind that?
Yeah, so we actually haven't had anyone reach out about unemployment. I know that the W-2 agencies are a little bit different, but we only hired out 1099. This year will be a little bit different. It'll be a mixture of both. So, that's kind of what it is right now. I do know that because of the CARES Act, a lot of the people that have worked for us, as well as many different agencies, will be taken care of under unemployment, which I'm super thankful about, because that definitely gives people some hope that they'll be taken care of and their families will be taken care of and that they can put food on the table.
Mm-hmm. And that's important, because a lot of EXPs are, having, I don't want to say hard times, but just trying to find ways to keep income coming in during this time.
Absolutely. And, I'm a big believer in, take this opportunity to find the silver lining in it. And what me and my husband did actually the other day is we wrote down 10 things that we're thankful for why this quarantine happened. Instead of focusing on the negative, we decided let's focus on the positive. Let's write it down so that we can reflect on it in a couple years. And, the things that we're thankful for during this time, we're still going to be thankful for after this time is over. So, really focus on the positive. I know finances is a big deal. And so that's why there's funds that are out there that are created. I know Christy Fanning and her agency, as well as myself and several other people, have kind of helped push the gig economy GoFundMe. So there's definitely opportunities that, we're trying to all get together and help other people out.
And that leads me to my next segue with the inspiration behind creating that GoFundMe, as well as your Facebook group, Side Hustlers Nationwide. So what prompted you and Melissa to get that going? Because it's benefited so many EXPs. You guys are posting some great opportunities, some great gigs for EXPs or freelancers to take advantage of. So what was the inspiration for that?
Yeah, I think the inspiration is we're in the business to help people. So if we can continue that was definitely a goal of ours. So with the Side Hustlers Nationwide, it was really like, okay, so in the beginning it was, let's get creative. Let's figure out different ways to make money. Let's get our brains going. Let's start brainstorming together. So I posted, why don't you start a sign franchise? People are going to still want to celebrate even though they're not too close. Or let's hop on Amazon and let's figure out the work from home jobs that they have. So we've posted a multitude of different jobs on there. We want people to feel like a community during this time. We want people to know that we care about them and we're still trying to help them find jobs in the midst of this. I've posted on LinkedIn trying to get you guys work because we want everyone to be taken care of financially. We want everyone's spirits to be lifted up during this time too. So the group was really stemmed out of positivity and really trying to help other people out.
And Melissa, you want to chime in on that? Because you're active. I see you commenting a lot in other groups and posting jobs.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, everything that Destiny just said is true, and I know that a lot of people have been put in, pretty serious situations because they didn't have the cash flow or they didn't have savings. So anything we can post is always going to be helpful for them. Just some of the things that I kind of jotted down was just, maybe doing affiliate networking. A lot of people are looking into that. Selling photos on the internet. Some people do that. Just anything that's going to bring in an extra income, sell unwanted items. I know my daughter is on, I can't remember the name of the site, but she's selling clothes that she didn't want, already getting bites on it. Just little things like that. Uber, Instacart, merchandising. And then just kind of remembering that going forward, I mean, it's not going to help people now that kind of didn't prepare, but going forward, keep in the back of your mind that you should always have at least 3 to 4 streams of income coming in. Some examples of that are just earned income, working your job, profit income, buying and selling, interest income, lending money. We may not all be in that position to do that, but dividend income, owning stocks, which I know that's kind of a big thing right now. Everyone's talking about the stock market, and now's a good time to buy.
Oh yeah, now's a good time to buy.
Rental income, which we participate in that. We do Airbnb. Some I know, Jay, you have several properties, and capital gains when your property or anything that you own is kind of the assets go up in value. So I know I panicked when this happened because I was looking at my house property and it went down by $30,000 in 1 week. And then 2 weeks later, it was already back up to above what it normally is. So just keeping in mind things like that going forward. Like Destiny said, always try your best to have a savings and kind of a buffer. Just like you're taking taxes, or you should be taking taxes out of those little checks you're getting, 20%, you should be putting a little bit into a savings as well for a rainy day. Just kind of treat it like a bill. That's my bill for my savings, and I'm going to put this much every single time I get a check. Believe me, it helps. I know it's hard. Some people aren't in the same, situation. I know there was like a little thing going on Facebook. We're not all, in the same boat. Right. And we're not all in the same boat, but hopefully some of these tips can help somebody going forward. And again, with the GoFundMe, it's an amazing thing that you guys started and Christy started. And there's been a lot of people that were being able to be helped. And don't be afraid to reach out in that way. I've always said, if anyone needs anything, please call me, text me, message me, no judgment. I will do what I can to help you out.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to kind of piggyback off Melissa, just because somebody might have a savings account or multiple streams of income doesn't mean that they're better than you or that they think that they're better than you. This is really an opportunity for you guys to reach out to those people maybe, or myself, Melissa, Jay, and just ask questions, pick our brains. Not everyone was prepared for this. Not everyone was as prepared for this as they want it to be. Some people are preppers. Some people just kind of, are spontaneous, and that's okay. If that's a part of your personality, then that's completely fine. There's no judgment. So if you have any questions or, want to give us any kind of ideas, then we're open to those opportunities. We're open in listening. We're opening to help you guys out as well.
And then too, just to piggyback off of that, I had some EXPs reach out, and I've been helping with resume tips and just looking over resumes. So as an agency, you and Melissa can talk more about this. What are some things that EXPs can do when they reach out to you to get assistance, whether that's revamping their resume or, just reaching out to you for some tips and ways to get booked once you guys start hiring again? A lot of agencies are talking about, just reaching out and sending over resumes or sending over their headshots for them to look at during this time while they are not busy. So what can EXPs do now while it's slow right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So apart from having your resume and your headshots in tip-top shape, I would suggest cleaning up your social media. We do look at social media accounts. You have explicit information on there, vulgar, lots of negativity, then that's really not someone we want to place in our jobs. Same with LinkedIn. clean up your LinkedIn accounts.
Yeah.
Make sure that you're adding people who could be allies on your LinkedIn accounts. That's huge right now. But cleaning up your social media, making sure that it's tasteful, because, if our clients see that, or if we see that, those are things that we keep into consideration. So, just dive deep into there, scrolling back on your post and making sure that you're posting content that is likable, shareable. Not saying that you have to, we're not going to judge you based on posting politics, but if you're posting, statuses with a whole bunch of curse words in it, or, explicit images, then we're most likely going to not want that to represent our agency. So cleaning up the social media would be my biggest take for this.
Mm-hmm. Melissa, any information you want to add there?
Yeah, to piggyback off that, believe me when I tell you, clients look at your social media. I was hired for a job a year and a half ago, and the client called and said, "Hey, by the way, can you delete that comment you made on Twitter?" And I'm like, "What comment I made on Twitter?" And it was like a comment about a big name company's pharmacy. They were just messing up my prescription, and I was venting. Well, that big name company was an affiliate of our client. We were going to be working with them. And it was like from 5 years ago. So when she says they dig deep, they really, really do dig deep. And they obviously don't want any kind of off-color remarks about their company, because if they ever saw it, they go, "Well, this person's representing," and now they're bashing us on the back end. You have to be really, really careful about what you say, because it is forever.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I know you guys are probably like, well, why is that? Well, people have a lot of time on their hands right now. So if they're looking at resume or cleaning through their database, then they're probably going to butt up the 2 and 2. So they're going to look at your social media as well while they have time. So definitely kind of clean that up. And not saying that people have a lot of bad things on their social media. It's just, that's a little bit of a tip for right now.
Or I know a lot of people do like their promo social media. They have a promo page and then their private page, and that's kind of a good thing to do if you want to have freedom of speech and you still want to talk about what you regularly talk about. That's fine. Maybe just do a separate Facebook that you share with your agencies and the public that's specifically for promo.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So let's shift the focus a little bit on EXPs and more about me and Destiny were talking about this before we got started. Having a minority business in the experiential marketing industry. Destiny, how has that been for you? Has it been a shift or any of a transition? Was it hard for you starting out with your agency? What were some of the challenges, if any, that you faced? And for the EXPs or individuals who are looking to begin a experiential marketing agency or a staffing agency, what advice do you have for them?
Yeah, absolutely. So first, I want to start out by letting people know that, in my opinion, and sometimes in the business world, minority isn't just about race. So it's not just about your minority background. So whether you're, Asian descent, African American, Indian, that is minority, yes, but minority also means being a female. Being in the part of the LGBTQ community, having a disability. Those are all minority categories because we aren't a part of the majority. So we're actually a double minority business. So we're female founded and we're African American. So I would say that when we started our agency, it was kind of a trending thing at the time. There was different types of movements out there. There was different types of documentaries out there. It was really mainstream. So we kind of got in at the perfect time to where a lot of clients that we work with are in the same position as us, being a minority business. So we work with a lot of experiential companies who are women founded, who are minority founded, who have a multicultural division within their agency. So we've kind of taken advantage of being able to connect with those clients because we're very parallel with them. So I would say it wasn't really a challenge, or I didn't see it as a challenge. I know that we're different, but I use those differences as a chance to kind of leverage ourselves and really lean forward in the industry because we were different. It was something that really wasn't as common as the regular staffing agency owner. So I actually like it because it sets us apart. and it makes people want to work with us. And I'm not afraid to point out our differences. If you do want to start an agency, I would just figure out a way that you're different. Definitely speak up on that. Don't be shy about it. And if people want to use you, they'll use you. If they don't, then, you can try again or try somebody else at the agency and see if they'll use you.
Do you feel like as a minority owner, you connect with different types of clients different?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we work with a lot of female producers. I can say that. We have a few guy producers or experiential owners that we work with, but my majority have been female because we're relatable. We have maybe the same vision, or we're okay with displaying that we're a minority business trying to diversify in the community, or help this brand leverage this in the community. So I would say that it's definitely been a good thing because a lot of companies or bigger companies want to work with diversity suppliers. So we're oftentimes considered a supplier or a vendor. And a lot of the head honchos are like, no, we need to start working with diversity suppliers, diversity vendors, because there's been a big push for that over the last several years now, actually. So it's been a good thing.
Mm-hmm. And then I know you mentioned earlier in our conversation that it was a little difficult for you starting up. So what were some of the challenges you faced? Because I know you said you didn't know a lot of things that you know now. So in hindsight, for someone looking to start an agency, like what are some things that they should be aware of or just be cognizant of?
Yeah, so on the client side, per se, I would say that there was a lot of trial and error. And the reason why I say it like that is because you don't fail until you think you failed. So with us, we decided we were going to kind of dabble into a little bit of everything, that I was going to take all kinds of clients, didn't care who it was. I was just going to try it out. So we started out by staffing trade shows. Then we kind of got into liquor demos, and then we got into experiential, and that's what we're sticking with. So I will say with the trade shows, that really wasn't a good fit for us, just because there's bigger players out there that do a better job at that type of staffing than we could. Liquor demos, there's a lot of liability in that for me. So personally, it's not something I would work. So it just wasn't a fit for our agency. A lot of scale agencies are really good about doing those liquor staffing. So kudos to you guys. And then we kind of segued into experiential, and those, we had to build a platform and show what we could do first. And, we did it okay as far as the trade shows and the liquor staffing. But what really was good about our agency was the experiential staffing. So once we kind of had like our capabilities deck built, people started saying, okay. And so then we started meeting other experiential marketing clients that wanted to work with us, and just kind of built our portfolio from there. So our main focus is on pop-ups, on experiential activation, branded events, large scale events. That's what we really, really enjoy. Tour stops with multiple tour locations. That's what our focus is on. So you kind of have to find your niche within a niche, decide what you like as an agency, what you're good at as an agency, what brand ambassadors you would bring on as a network component to that agency, what clients you would bring on. So I guess with all of that saying, my biggest challenge was finding the right client for us. Not every client's going to be a fit for you. Not every client's going to want to work with you, and that's okay. You have to build those relationships. You have to build trust, because having a staffing agency is all about trust. And if you don't have trust with the brand ambassadors or the clients, then it's probably not going to work out.
Ooh, Melissa, anything you want to add? She's dropping gems.
She is dropping some gems. That's why I am so happy to be part of this team, because I feel like we, have a good rapport and kind of on the same page as far as all of that goes. So I think that also during this time, it's a really good time to kind of reflect, maybe do some acts of service. I know that a lot of people are kind of putting that out there now. Contribute to a food bank if you can, if you have something to spare. Run errands for people that maybe can't go out, the elderly, the immunocompromised. adopt, foster a pet. I've seen so many people adopt and fostering pets right now. It's just been amazing. If you're able and you can, now's a good time. You're going to home and don't necessarily have to adopt. You can foster until it goes to its forever home. Send books, send cards to the elderly in nursing homes. Those folks are stuck there. They just, they can't get visitors from their loved ones. Any little thing is going to brighten their day. So just anything you can do to kind of get through all this and help other people get through it too.
Yeah, absolutely. We got to build a community.
Yeah, if you guys post anything like that in the Side Hustlers group, let me know, like a list of different things people can do, because I'll definitely share it in the EXP Elite group as well, because I think that is important. Those acts of service and giving back in any way that you can during this time is important.
Absolutely. And one thing that I do kind of want to add into this is on Facebook, there's so many different groups that you can join outside of the EXP Elite or outside of Side Hustlers nationwide. Do some research. I'm a part of a budgeting group. I wasn't good at writing budgets. I'm probably still not good at writing budgets, but reading different posts or different people's experiences has helped me build a better platform for what I want to do. And it doesn't have to just be about budgeting. Like I could join a group on how to breed cats or, whatever the case might be. If there's a skill set that you want to get to know or get better at, start reaching out to those groups, start asking questions, use this time to build a better skill set to help other people. Maybe there's a food drive group that you can join in your area, like Melissa said. So there's different opportunities. Use social media to your advantage. Join different groups. Learn different things. I know Christy and Melissa and Jay have been good about posting and reposting about the different online courses that you can do during this time, which I think is really cool. Take advantage of learning those different certifications. Maybe refresh your tips or your TABC so that you're ready to go whenever that time comes. Do your research. Use this time, whether it's early in the morning, spend 30 minutes, 15 minutes doing something that you're passionate about or want to become passionate about.
Yeah. Not becoming, but adding a new skill set. I was watching something on LinkedIn today about the importance of updating your LinkedIn profile, taking those free LinkedIn learning courses, and getting those certifications is important. And it's something that we can all do now. And a lot of agencies are really pushing the fact that we may be going digital. So how do you feel about the virtual, marketing and virtual events? Is that something clients have approached you about, or do you see it as, I don't want to say the future, because I still think in-person events are going to happen, but do you see our industry moving to more of those?
I think it's a possibility for us to get involved in that, but it's not our main focus. Our main focus is those live events, and we're just kind of in for the ride. Whenever they start picking back up, we want to be the first ones that our clients reach out to. Right now, our approach is just circling back up with our current clients and saying, hey, I hope that you guys are doing well. And then also we're doing a little bit of reaching out to new clients to see like, hey, when this starts back up, would love to kind of get to know you guys, to get to talk to you guys about, working with InCast for 2020, 2021 and beyond. So we're still doing a little bit of sales and reaching outreach. I will say that a lot of our clients do come from LinkedIn. So being connected, like Jay said, off of LinkedIn and getting to know your connections is super important, because that's how we've gotten a lot of big jobs. So it's strictly from LinkedIn. So use that to your advantage.
Okay. I'm going to go through and read some of these comments from EXPs. Everybody's commented and said hi. Allison Murphy said, love you, Destiny, 100%.
She's an awesome staffing agency owner. If you guys haven't signed up with her, make sure you get in touch with her. She's powerful. Allison, Total Event Solutions.
Total Event Solutions. I'm going to reach out to her and do an interview with her as well. Karen said, great statement, Destiny. I had the same conversation with my best friends about 2 weeks ago. Being grateful in this time is important.
Yes.
Miles said, agree completely on the social media posts. You got to be mindful of that. And Jessica Bradford said hello. And she said, thank you, Destiny and Melissa. And she loves budget groups as well.
Good. Thank you guys so much for the comments.
Thank you. Yeah. So Future for InCast. I know we've been talking a lot about what you guys have coming up in the future with regards to events, but where do you see your agency in a year from now? And how can EXPs get involved with InCast?
Absolutely. So we're still a growing agency. I'm not going to front about that. We started in 2017 and we just kind of grew rapidly. There was times that I would do it for a little bit, then stop, do it for a little bit, and then stop. But really in 2019, well, 18, 19 is when we really started taking the agency seriously. And that enabled me I was actually still activating out in the field and flying out with different companies as an auto show person. So I really started stepping back from those roles and focusing on being the CEO of InCast. And so we got a lot of people's attention by, being on LinkedIn or putting together a creative deck for our agency. So the growth was super fast, super rapid. So I see ourselves continuing to grow as an agency because of the rapport that we've built in the field. And I really appreciate all the people that have worked with us that have made those experiences really good. We haven't had a negative experience in the industry yet. So I really appreciate all the people that were boots to the ground that helped bring our agency to the forefront. So I think we're going to continue to grow as an agency. Our goal is to have a lot of people like Melissa on our team, but obviously Melissa's our girl right now. So we do want to start creating more jobs internally. So, obviously, so that we're not a 1 to 3 man show anymore. We want to grow organically that way, but strategically. We're not going to grow so fast that we can't handle it. We still want to give our clients the small agency, but big enough to handle the larger events. Yes, we've handled really, really big events simultaneously. So we're pretty good at doing that, but we're not going to take on so many clients that we stop caring about people, and oftentimes I do see that happening where people want to take everything that they can, but they tend to forget about, focusing on just focusing on the small and then building up to the big, and, being strategic with your placement too while you're growing.
Mm-hmm. And that was my next thing before we get off of here. What do you say to the agencies or the EXPs who feel like, you got to have every account, or I need to be trying to lock down every account because I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring or what next year is going to bring
I say that that's impossible. That's how you get in trouble. You don't want to constantly have to rob Peter to pay Paul. So you have to think smart about your cash flow too, because at the end of the day, that's, the staffing agency, that's what some people are complaining about in the promo reviews, is that somebody grew so big that they didn't have the cash flow. And we never want to run into those issues. So I would just say, slow down, take your time, reflect. Like I said in the earlier aspect of this call, was making sure that you have a niche within a niche. So you don't have to take on every single client. Like if you're going to do liquor demos and you're really good about staffing liquor demos, then focus on staffing those liquor demos. Don't try to do that plus trade shows, plus experiential marketing. Yes, you can do that, but I would really take my time and maybe just figure out one of those that work best for you and then grow upon that. Because once you have your portfolio built, then that's when okay, I have something here.
Mm-hmm. Melissa, you want to add anything to that? Or are you good?
I'm just wanted to add, hopeful that things are going to get back soon to normal, our normal, which is kind of crazy normal, but we're all used to it. And I know that a lot of people in the back of their mind are worried. I think Destiny mentioned earlier that some projections are fall of 2021. We're staying hopeful that this is going to happen sooner than that for everybody. Taking proper measures. I know Disney is already have a plan in works, taking temperatures at the gate, hand sanitizers everywhere, making sure that their patrons stay safe. And I know that's something that we could definitely transition and implement in our industry. And I know that a lot of big companies and convention centers are already kind of forward thinking in that too. So I'm hopeful that we're all going to be able to pivot and kind of just change the way we do things. Maybe hire a team of cleaners to clean your footprint. That's just what they do. They just go around and wipe things down periodically, kind of like the car show guys to clean the cars. We can do that. Just kind of thinking of positive things that we can implement to make sure that we're staying safe first and foremost, our customers are staying safe and that we can go forward, because I know that everyone is really looking forward to being able to gather and go to these events after being stuck at home for, 2 months or more. So trying to stay positive over here, thinking of things that we could do going forward.
Yeah. And there's a lot that EXPs can implement, as you ladies talked about tonight, with regards to resumes, headshots, to taking advantage of these courses and these groups to better themselves coming out of this pandemic, so that they are ahead of the game moving forward. So as I let you ladies go and we wrap up tonight, from both of you, any words of advice you have for an EXP personally or just professionally in this industry? And then two, outside of working as staffing coordinators or agency owners, like what are some things that you like to do that most of us may not know about?
Melissa, you want to take that one first?
I mean, I'm sure that everyone knows I'm obnoxious about posting photos of all my plants. That's something that I've always been into, and honestly, it wasn't as successful as it is now because I'm home and I'm able to care for them. And kind of like what Destiny mentioned, I'm in like cactus plant clubs on Facebook, and every plant club there is, I try to learn a little bit more about it every day. Pinterest is actually also a really good resource, guys, for being an independent contractor, your business. I have learned a lot, done a lot of research on Pinterest as far as helping myself with my taxes and getting your LLC and things like that. There is a multitude of posts there. So yeah.
And advice you have for an EXP, whether it's professionally or personally, that they need to implement either now or in the future?
I would definitely, this is kind of something that I do. I don't know if everybody does this, but I'm kind of a really big advocate of the handwritten note. I think it speaks volumes. I'll send Christmas cards at Christmas time to the agencies that I work with sometimes, the major ones that I work with, not every single one. I'd never be able to keep up. But the ones that are important to you that you consider family, send a Christmas card, send a handwritten note. Even if you did not get the job, send a handwritten note. And if you don't want to do that, just send an email. It kind of goes a long way. Like, hey, thank you so much for considering me. Good luck to whoever got chosen. I appreciate you considering me for the next job. Keep me on your roster. It just kind of keeps your fresh in their mind, even if they didn't hire you. Just little things like that go a really long way.
Yeah, I really like that, Melissa. I've had several people do that after a job, just like, hey, just don't forget about me for other opportunities. And I think that that's really mature. It shows that you're eager to work those opportunities. So to kind of piggyback off Melissa, oh man, I don't know. I'm kind of lazy. I don't really have I'm kidding. I love doing research.
Mm-hmm.
Love it so much. And I know it sounds kind of cliche, but doing research has definitely made me grow as a person. Mm-hmm. I'm constantly looking up, different things that I can do to better myself as a person, better myself as a leader, better myself as a wife, a mom. So doing research definitely takes up a lot of my time. If I don't understand something, then I'm going to go and research all kinds of websites. Obviously, I pick and choose what I want to believe, and then I ask further questions to maybe an expert. So I'm constantly online doing research for different things that I'm passionate about or want to become passionate about. So that takes up a lot of my free time. I want to start reading a little bit more books, but I found that, in the digital world, being on YouTube, you can learn as much information, a synopsis about a book or, something that you want to do. So I want to do more of that, definitely for this time. And then my advice is just stay positive. Like, I can't stress that enough, but also sign up for different agencies. Like, take this time to really make sure that your database is good. Update those addresses so that those checks come to the right address. Updating your pictures. I know those are easier said than done, but if you do two a night, sign up for 2 agencies a night or in the morning, whatever time of the day you choose. Do that. Reach out to people. Knowledge is power. So just trying to understand maybe somebody a little bit better, mend those relationships that might be broken or people you haven't talked to in a while. That kind of stems into positivity. So yeah, I would just, constantly keep yourself busy. Don't fight with people online. It's pretty tacky. Um, just, and as far as if you want to be an agency owner, start asking agency owner questions. They're probably not going to give you the whole blueprint, but if you have a specific question, then ask them or ask a experiential agency or someone that you're close to or used to work with. I think that there's plenty of work to go around. So if you wanted to start a staffing agency, and wanted to be up and running when events started up and running, now's the time to do that. Like Melissa talked about earlier, stocks. I know Jay's talked about it. Stocks. My husband has gotten into day trading since this pandemic, so kudos to him. As long as he doesn't lose everything we put into it, I'm fine with it. As long as he makes profit, I'm good. So yeah, there's plenty of things that you guys can do. Reach out to me if you have questions or want to brainstorm. I'm all about brainstorming. I'm all about signing up for different groups or national organizations, applying for different things to be a part of or seminars to be a part of that maybe I would never have done otherwise. So,
and then too, it's enough money to go around EXP for agencies. A lot of EXPs may feel like, I don't want to start an agency because I may not get a contract or, there's too many, it's saturated. But me and Destiny were talking about this, offline, that there's enough to go around for everybody.
Absolutely. There's plenty of good around. As long as you're not poaching, like if InCast put you in touch with a client, I would be a little bit disappointed if you went to that client and said, hey, I'll staff for you better than she can. Like, don't put other people down along the way. I think that you can make your own connections with different clients. And, if you are afraid that you might be poaching, then, maybe look at your contracts a little bit closely of the staffing agencies that you're signed up for and start asking like how long it would take to get out of those contracts because you really want to put all your focus into starting a staffing agency. Those are some things that you can do, or even be upfront with them saying, hey, I'm going to start my own staffing agency. Are you okay with this? I mean, there's all kinds of ways to start an agency. You just have to figure out what works for you and make sure that you're not getting into any legal trouble doing it or, contract breaching while you're doing it. So yeah, anybody can do it. Just figure out your focus, figure out what clients you're going to go after, and just really go for it.
All right, ladies. Well, EXPs, as I always say, you are a brand within a brand, and these ladies did a great job tonight of coming in and just talking about not only InCast marketing, but the importance of establishing yourself, both as an EXP and personally. We all work in this industry that we love, executing events and engaging with people. But at the end of the day, my motto has always been making sure the core is good.
Yes.
And you are taking care of yourself from a health and wellness standpoint, mentally, financially, and physically as well. So just use this time, like Destiny and Melissa have been saying, to reconnect, to do some different, she is down there singing, to do some different community outreach programs, because at the end of the day, we are just entities within this industry that we work in, but we are still people as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you guys have any questions, I'm a pretty open book. I mean, within reason, I'll answer them for you guys. If you want to know how to start an LLC, I think that's going to be really important moving forward. If you want to take advantage of certain tax benefits as a 1099 contractor, I mean, there's so many things that you can do right now. And, don't be discouraged. Like I said, be positive. That's something I'm always going to say. Yeah, anybody can reach out to me. You can text me, call me, email me, Facebook message me.
And what's the best way for EXPs to sign up with InCast?
Yeah, so we're doing a shift right now. We were on pop bookings and we're still on pop bookings, but we've kind of freezed that right now to look at other options. And I actually have a call tomorrow to do a demo for the new platform. So stay tuned, and I will post it on our Facebook page as well as on our website when we have the new website up.
Okay. So until then, do you want them to email you or Melissa?
Yeah. Email me your resume and your headshot, and I will review it, and we'll get you on as soon as we open up that database. I'll send you guys a link.
Okay, great. So I'll post both her and Melissa's email here in the video at the end for you guys to reach out to them. All right.
Awesome.
All right, everybody. So thank you guys all for tuning in. Special thanks to Melissa and Destiny of InCast Marketing for joining us tonight. And remember, guys, you are a brand within a brand. So represent yourself accordingly and stay safe out here.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Y'all have a blessed night.
Thank you guys so much. Stay safe out there.